Is Christian McCaffrey's season over? Or could there be hope left for the 49ers? Let's be real for a second. The San Francisco 49ers have had one heck of a season, one moment. They're riding high on Super Bowl dreams. The next, they're down in the dumps and battling injuries like they're in some kind of dramatic sports movie. But if there's one thing that stings more than anything else, it's watching a star player go down. Enter Christian McCaffrey, the all-pro running back who was placed on injured reserve after a sprained PCL during the team's crushing 23-20 loss to the Buffalo Bills. Yikes. Talk about a tough break. Huh? The injury drama. A big hit to the 49ers' hopes. First, let's rewind. The 49ers came into the season with big aspirations. They were Super Bowl contenders, folks. But instead of marching through the season with swagger, they've been hit by a series of unfortunate events. Injuries galore. And now, McCaffrey, one of the most dynamic and reliable players on the roster, is out. McCaffrey, known for his elusive moves and heart-stopping runs, was placed on injured reserve following the game against the Bills. But the plot thickens. He didn't just get an average run-of-the-mill injury. No, this was a sprained PCL. And we all know how serious those things can be. Initially, the medical team thought he'd be sidelined for a good 6 weeks. That puts the 49ers in a very tricky spot, especially with just 5 weeks left in the season. Hope from Coach Shanahan? Maybe? Now, let's take a step back. While Coach Kyle Shanahan could have taken the "everything's fine, we've got this" approach, he actually offered fans a glimmer of hope when asked whether McCaffrey could make a return in time for the playoffs. Shanahan responded with a cautious but optimistic, "Yeah, I believe so." Yeah, might sound a little non-committal. But hey, it's something. After all, coaches are masters of keeping their cards close to their chest. But Shanahan's comment wasn't the only update. Fans, and McCaffrey himself, were waiting for something more substantial. Could McCaffrey really be back for the playoffs and somehow lead the 49ers to a Cinderella story? Or was the season already too far gone? McCaffrey's Instagram, the ultimate spoiler. But McCaffrey's Instagram post later in the day might have dropped a spoiler on the whole "will he return this season?" narrative. In a heartfelt post that didn't exactly scream, "I'll be back next week," McCaffrey shared his feelings about the season, using past tense that kind of threw a bucket of cold water on the fans' hopes. "This wasn't my year," McCaffrey said, "and sometimes when it rains, it pours. You can feel sorry for yourself, or you can hold the line." Now, we all know McCaffrey is known for his positive attitude, but this post felt a little bit like a mic drop. He did follow up with a pledge to work smarter and harder than ever, and promised he would return stronger. But it sounded like he's already gearing up for a very long rehab process. To make things a little clearer, McCaffrey's full caption went a little deeper into the trials and tribulations that come with being a pro football player. "Football is the greatest game on the planet to me. I love that you can find out exactly who you are without ever saying a word. It lifts you up and breaks you down, and it can happen fast. It's humbling in the best ways. You can do everything right and still fail. That's life and that's football. It's a constant test of wills, and those who just keep going tend to reap the benefits of their perseverance." And while his optimistic message of perseverance is certainly admirable, you can't help but feel like McCaffrey's journey back to the field just might not happen this year. The tone felt more like a farewell for 2023 rather than a hopeful, "I'll be back soon" message. A lost season for McCaffrey? Okay, let's face it, 2023 is looking like a rough year for McCaffrey. Injuries have marred his potential. And with a calf and Achilles issue that kept him out until Week 10. It's been an uphill battle. McCaffrey did make a brief appearance on the field, but his performance steadily declined in each of his 4 games, as his yards from scrimmage continued to drop. Backup running back Jordan Mason stepped up admirably in McCaffrey's absence. But even Mason is now going on injured reserve with a high ankle sprain. So yeah, things are looking a little bleak for the Niners in the run game right now. Still, let's not completely close the book just yet. The 49ers are still sitting on a 5-7 record. So if they somehow pull off a miracle and sneak into the playoffs, who knows what might happen? But let's be real, McCaffrey's absence is undeniably felt. The silver lining: McCaffrey will be back in 2024. Here's the bright side. McCaffrey is locked in for the future. He signed a hefty 2-year, $38 million extension before the season began, keeping him with the 49ers through 2027. So, while this year might be a lost cause, we can still hold on to hope that McCaffrey will return next year, healthy and ready to wreak havoc again. When healthy, McCaffrey is a top-tier running back, one of the best in the league. And if the Niners can get their act together, there's a chance that the 2024 season could be one where the 49ers return to prominence with McCaffrey leading the way. Wrapping it up, it's tough, folks. The 49ers season has been an emotional rollercoaster, and McCaffrey's injury only adds to the drama. But don't lose hope. Shanahan might still have a few tricks up his sleeve, and McCaffrey's journey to recovery could make for one of the most incredible comeback stories in 2024. So here's the deal. The 49ers need all the support they can get right now. Can they rally without their star player? Well, time will tell. But one thing is for sure. If McCaffrey does indeed miss the rest of this season, he'll be back next year with a vengeance. Now, before you head out, don't forget to hit that like button. Share this video with your friends. And make sure to subscribe for all the latest updates on McCaffrey, the 49ers, and everything else in the NFL. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling something that's been causing a lot of buzz in college football. No, it's not a new offensive strategy or some viral touchdown dance, it's flag planting. Yeah, you heard that right. It's become a full-blown controversy. And I'm here to break it all down for you in the most entertaining way possible. If you've been living under a rock, or just don't care about college football rivalries, you might be wondering, what's the big deal about planting flags? Well, buckle up because it's way crazier than you think. Let's talk about the weekend of absolute chaos that left football fans in shock. Coaches throwing hands, and officials probably wishing they could retire early. It all started with the Michigan versus Ohio State game. Talk about high stakes. The Wolverines pulled off the upset of the year. And what do they do next? March across the field with a giant Michigan flag like they own the place. Well, surprise, surprise. Ohio State wasn't too thrilled about that. So what happens next? A full-on tug of war for that flag. Yep, Michigan's Derek Moore was waving it like he had just discovered fire. And Ohio State players were like, not on our turf, literally. Before you know it, fists were flying, and coaches were screaming. I mean, come on, was it a football game or the WWE? But wait, it doesn't end there. Oh no, it's rivalry weekend, which means there were flags being planted everywhere. Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, you name it. They were all getting in on the action. Now, this whole flag planting thing is not just a new trend. It has deep historical roots in military conquests and territorial victories. If you don't believe me, think back to the days of exploration, where people were literally planting flags to claim new lands. But in 2024 college football, is it really necessary to wave your flag around like you're conquering a nation? I mean, I'm all for school spirit, but there's a thin line between being proud of your team and starting a full-on brawl at midfield. But it gets even better, or worse, depending on how you look at it. The SEC and Big Ten commissioners are now calling for some serious action to stop this nonsense. No more flag planting, they say. Maybe just keep the flags in the locker room where they belong. Huh? But are suspensions the answer? And what about fines? Well, it looks like the NCAA might finally be doing something about this. But let's be honest, this is college football. And things always get a little out of hand.